few days because this is a long interview. So this is a long interview. So let's get started.
I was planning on living. What are you putting into this? Her car that she was driving at the time was trashed. What happens if I lose my job? I get sick. I get this. I get that. You spend money every day you step out the door.
He's telling the family that I stole his money.
I'm trying to be financially smart because you just go out and spend and spend and spending and you only putting a quarter back.
She said, one thing you need to know about Legion. She said, whatever he tells you, it is a lie.
That's not it. And she did it for likes.
I thought I knew, but I truly had no idea. Who the fuck I married?
She made that whole story up for likes.
The thoughts, views, and opinions expressed in this video do not reflect upon the host. This is a direct reflection of Jerome McCoy, aka Legion's point of view. From the time of this video, any physical evidence to confirm or deny Reese Tisa's story has yet to be disclosed. Jerome was interviewed several times as new information was released. Today's a very special day. I'm here with a guy who, over the last week, has grown extremely popular on social media, but not for a very favorable reason.
I'm going to go in order from the time we met until the time I got our divorce decree in the mail.
Hi, my name is Jerome McCoy. Y'all been saying Legion.
How many names do you have?
To give me whatever. I'm only here honestly because I didn't see the stories until like part 20, and a good friend hit me up and was like,
Wait, he said Legion. Like he's not the one that made up that name. Legion. Y'all call me Legion on here. Huh? You made up that name.
Hey, it's your ex-wife and she on here, she bashing you and whatnot. And I didn't know nothing about it. I literally still haven't watched a lot of it. I just paid attention to like the footnotes. Somebody like watched the whole thing and gave me like a microcosm of what she was saying because they knew it wasn't true. And then I honestly wasn't going to respond. Nobody said anything to me. Only when I got family members getting harassed, my godmom at work and people coming up to her, and then my niece couldn't go to school because of it. Got another niece that had to move out of Atlanta, and she came back home, her mom, because of all this. So for me, when I heard about it, I was going to ignore it, still ignore it because it didn't bother me. But then I heard the unfortunate story about the gentleman with the same name, his house being vandalized, and then people harassing him, and then another gentleman with the same name. I think that I'm not mistaken. I think somebody had wrote they took a shot at him. So for that reason, I said, all right, let me come put a stop to some of this. Some of the people I went to school with, good friends of mine, been getting harassed, and I got friends of mine getting harassed. I got my brother.
Womp womp. Woe is me. Get on with the story.
And even I had to go to workplace and make a statement and find out what was going on, and then get legally covered before I jump on camera, start talking loose like some people doing. A lot of things had to come in place for me to jump on here. And then the funny part in between that, I see ex-girlfriends that I ain't talked to in forever, ex-wife that and it's crazy because I'm like, what?
When he told me this, I was in the kitchen laughing.
Allegedly, your ex-wife came out and did a 50-part series on TikTok about what transpired in y'all's relationship and all the horror stories and all these things that she felt like she needed to come out and say. First things first, I just wanted to ask, explain the conditions and how you guys met, about the studio apartment, the money situation and the job.
I met her, I was doing a work thing, and after work everybody wanted to get together to eat. I mean, we had like one of the most stressful weeks at my job that we could possibly have. So we all was like Cheesecake Factory. You in Atlanta, you know anything about Atlanta, everybody go Cheesecake Factory. Me, it's my favorite restaurant. Don't eat there too much, you're gonna get fat. But I mean, it's a good place to eat. We all went there to eat, honestly. I was there. She was there to her.
You know what? Let's do a lie count on this man. Because I watched all of the 50 parts of Reese Tisa. So I'm a fact check with him. Let's do a lie count. I'm going to type it in the chat.
Roommates. We met. She seemed honestly like a really nice girl. Nice lady, honestly. Very funny. Really smart. We exchanged numbers and we decided to meet back there a week later. The next week, I actually could not meet her back there because, again, I had work. Then the week after that, she called me up. We was like Cheesecake Factory, cool. So I was on my way to meet her there. She called me on the phone, said that she had a problem with her tire. Asked her what was going on. She said she had a piece of metal in it or something. She put some air in it and was on the way and was going to meet me. Then she called me like 20 minutes later, said she couldn't do it. She couldn't meet me because of the tire and she needed help.
I heard a boom and I lost control of my car. Did not crash, but my tire blew out. I said, I got to get this fixed. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm a damsel in distress kind of thing.
She didn't have roadside assistance or anything like that. So I was like, all right, cool. And I was just going to go and be done with it. But something in me said, hey, don't leave a woman on the side of the road. Like, my dad was real big on, you can help. So I was like, all right, cool.
What a noble man.
Tell me where you at. Send me your location. Boom, she sent me a location. Long story short, I went, helped her get her tire fixed. Went to a tire place, guy I know and love. He fixed the tire. Really didn't charge me much of anything. I paid for the tire. And we ended up going to dinner after that. We talked, hit it off. And we ended up spending almost 24 hours together just talking. Really. She interests me because she is like highly intelligent. Teresa, not stupid by any means. So that's how I got started, honestly. She was very open, and I was very open about what was going on with me, which was nothing, but I just worked way too much. At that time, I was working way too much. As anybody,
That might be a lie. Because Risa Tisa said he didn't have a job. He was unemployed. That man was unemployed. So I'm going to count that as a lie because your employment is in question. Okay? So.
Well, you just trying to make money. Back then, my motivation was I just want to make as much money as possible. I had nothing to tie me into anything other than just, get some money.
We both had established we were dating for marriage. It was a good vibe. We sat in his car and he played this song for me by John Legend. John Legend was talking about, I think I met my wife tonight. And I thought it was a sign. So I was like, oh my God.
That was how I got started. After a couple of weeks talking on the phone, dating, again, she grew on me as any relationship if you like somebody. She came to the studio apartment a couple times. I had been to her house a couple of times. Now, friends of mine I work with, we talked about her and they advised me, hey, this Atlanta, be careful because you're making this money, you're doing your thing, you don't want to end up just in a
He said he's making his money and doing his thing. What money? What money?
Situation where you end up paying for stuff and doing stuff. I was raised where, man, you try to take care of your woman best you can do. I mean, I'm a car guy. I love cars. So for me, if she had a problem with her car, I help her. And over the coming weeks, she had a lot of problems with the Nissan Rogue she was driving. So I help out. I wasn't going to have her. I even drove her car to work a couple of days just to get some stuff fixed on it because I know guys that work on cars and I know a lot. So just to get that situation in a better position. Then, the relationship grew. And then the pandemic hit.
But everything was going great. The issue was, where are we going to quarantine? When he came to my house, I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhome. He was in his studio. I was like, he kept telling me, like, this is temporary because I'm looking for a house. Like, he showed me the email from a woman who worked at the company. She was putting him in contact with a realtor to help him find a townhome or a single family house.
So the apartment is just the apartment I lived in during the week during work. I lived other side of Atlanta. So for me going to the house, this was 5 minutes versus driving an hour and 10 minutes with traffic to my house.
So Risa said he lived in a studio apartment temporarily. while he was looking for a house. He said he had 2 places to live, a studio apartment and a house. Lie. That's number 3.
So you already had a house?
Yeah.
That's what I
That
said.
wasn't mentioned in the story. I don't know if you.
That's
knew
what
that,
I
but-
said.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah, she said that all you had was the studio apartment. So you had a house and a studio apartment.
Yep, stay at a studio apartment through the week because traffic in Atlanta is horrible and trying to get home and get back and wearing out. I'm wearing myself out in the afternoon getting off work. And I'm in the car for 2 hours. Whereas studio apartment, 15 minutes. She lived in Riverdale. I actually lived in Douglasville. But the job was in what is that? Like Duluth area. So if you look on the map, Duluth and Douglasville is far, and Clayton County, Riverdale is farther. So it was easier for me to.
I don't know what area is where in Georgia, but I know he just lied. So that's number 4.
Get this studio apartment, be there during the week because I would be at work sometimes 8 o'clock, and then having to drive home, get up, make that drive, this studio apartment. And a couple people that work with me, we all did the same thing. We all rented out of this building because it was easier for a lot of us.
I did not realize inviting him to my home probably made his eyes go, oh shit, she's a keeper. She got this 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhouse, and I'm in like a little studio. Yeah, let me go ahead and pursue this. What I need to do to quarantine here.
Because I heard in the story where she said that we quarantined together during the pandemic. And I need to clear that up because during the pandemic, like we're Zooming and we FaceTime. I got her into using Apple products, iPhone, and we FaceTime. During the pandemic, she worked from home. I still had to get up and go to work. And because people at my job were coming down with COVID left and right.
What does that have to do with you staying at her house? You were staying at her house. You were waking up at her house. You were going to bed at her house. What the hell does that have to do with you going to work? You were at her house.
I didn't think it was a good idea for us to physically see each other because COVID in Atlanta was horrible. The city.
What? Wait, so this man is completely lying and saying that he didn't even stay at her house to quarantine? He's saying he wasn't even at her house to quarantine? Oh my gosh. Oh, the lies are bad. The lies are horrible.
Shut down. I'm not an essential worker, so our job had to apply for us to be able to be out in the morning. So I would have to get up in the morning time, go to work, and come home.
What did he do for work?
Somebody, and I'm around people all day long. They've been out in the community moving around. So if I got sick, I'm gonna get her sick. So during the pandemic, when she said that we were together, yeah, we were talking, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, but we were not in the same house together. It was almost 5.5 months that I didn't physically see her.
Stop it right now. Stop it right now.
Saw her like I'm seeing you. I didn't spend any time in that house with her because I didn't want to get her sick if I got sick.
So y'all weren't quarantined together then?
No.
I didn't want to quarantine by myself. So he moved in. We talked about the bills. Let me do something.
The lies.
The other video where I said he paid all the bills. He paid all the household bills. He did not pay my car payment, my cell phone, or my car.
Wait. So, oh my God. So not only is he denying that he quarantined with her, but you're going to deny that you paid her bills? So you were staying at your other house that was some 11 minutes away, some hours away, and you're paying her bills? And you're saying, oh, we weren't really dating like that, but you were paying her bills. You were paying her bills. Oh my God.
Insurance. He paid the rent because my rent at the time was less than $1,000. When he's telling me that he's a regional manager, I was like, wow, okay, so you got money.
So when you first met her, do you feel like it started off about money?
No, absolutely not.
I was gonna say, because like when you were talking about the job and everything like that, it was just casual conversation. It wasn't like, hey, look, you know, I got all these big things coming up, and this is what my situation is now, but this is what it's gonna be. You don't think that, like, none of that played into y'all's relationship at first?
No, I mean, I told her in the beginning my job was demanding at times, and it was. Um, and then I did charity work on top of it, and it was something that I wanted to do. Um, my grandfather used to do it, and he got me into it. Um, a guy that two gentlemen that are not my brothers, but I call them my brothers. A long time ago, both of them like just looked out for me, and because when my father died, they just stepped in like father figures, but they're like big brothers to me, and they did some of the same charity work. So I just wanted to lend a hand and help them help people, and it's just something good to do. Ain't nothing
Somebody put a halo over this man's head and rip it right off because this man's a lie.
better than helping people who need it.
I am not, this is where it's not going to make me look good, but it's the truth. It was intoxicating to not have to worry financially about how to pay the bills. It was a wonderful feeling. And so I kind of pushed to the side the fact that, yeah, you shacking up, because it's like, but your paycheck, you don't have to worry right now. Like,
So his position is that this is a complete lie. They weren't shacked up. He wasn't paying her bills. They weren't quarantining together.
he's taking care
Absurd.
of all of April's bills before April even comes, because this was still March. And then we have a conversation about house.
Was there a turning point in this situation? Like, was there a certain point where you were like, okay, I'm noticing she's starting to be on edge about stuff?
I told her in the beginning, pretty much everything about me, and I told her there's certain things I wasn't going to discuss with her because I felt like, as a girlfriend, not your business. How much money I make, not your business. My exact finances, not your business. She knew for a fact I had money because, again, I bought dinner. I did everything. The first time we went out, yeah, she paid for hers. I paid for mine. After that, she didn't buy another meal.
For the whole time y'all were dating?
Yeah, no, never again. Never paid for food again. Never. And that's fine because kind of guy I am essentially. I don't. If I ask you on a date, obviously I'm paying. That's how I feel. I know somebody gonna be like, no, man, I'm cutting it down the middle. No, honestly, if I ask you out, then I have full intention of I'm taking care of dinner. One of the reasons I did pay for everything, other than that, is she had told me about her job, her financial situation with student loans. She was very open because she told me about the Nissan Rogue that she was driving. She actually showed me the loan paperwork. And I read over it, and I saw that, she was paying very high interest rate on a truck that really wasn't worth it. I mean, she was paying 3 times what the truck was worth. Not to mention paying student loans, getting up, going to work every day. And actually, like, some of the supplies for her job, she was buying herself.
This is when he showed me a letter from Chase with the Chase logo at the top, stating that he had been approved for a mortgage for a $750,000 mortgage, or a $750,000 house. So he was like, we can't go over 750. And I said, I remember asking him, can you afford the mortgage on a $750,000 house? Because I know I can. This is when he explains to me, I told you how I played arena football. I invested my money really well.
What was going on with the housing situation? With the cash offer? Like, was the proof of funds?
I told her she wanted, because like I said, she knew about my house and then hers. She wanted to, and this is after we got married.
And again, this is April 2020. This is before we got married. So at the time, he was my boyfriend. His whole attitude was, you're going to be my wife, happy life. And the home was listed, I believe, roughly 400 and something thousand. He's telling me he put an offer in. I need to clarify some things he told me and the things that I actually saw.
She wanted to get a house that we both could live in together. I told her, we looked at her credit, we looked at mine. When we looked at her credit, it wasn't good. So I talked to a financial advisor I know, and my brother, Miguel. He's not my blood brother, but he, like I told you, he gave me some good advice. He said, "Listen, bro, you want to go into a house with this woman. I'm advising you not to do it, but if you're going to do it, she don't have the capital. So what you're going to have to do is it's going to be you. So if you put her on the loan, you're going to pay more. So you might as well just put yourself on there and take care of everything, and you can put her name on the house as just someone living there." So when we talked about it, she agreed to it, but we were still into this marriage. And I told her I'm not comfortable with buying a house with you just yet.
What? But you're married. You're married. You should have discussed that beforehand. Well, you did because you lied about the timeline. But what do you mean you're not comfortable splitting a house with her yet? Huh?
I'll sublease my house out, and we can live, somewhere, or you can do something different. We can figure something out. What she didn't do, and this was the first red flag for me, is she signed a 2-year lease at that house in Riverdale, and she didn't tell me anything about it. The only way I found out about it because I asked her, because it was coming close to the time to renew the lease. She said, "I already signed a 2-year lease. Why would you do that?"
In October, we looked at another house. This house was in Marietta. Absolutely gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I want to say that the house was about $700,000. I really liked the house. I could see myself living there. I could see myself cooking there. And so subsequently, my ex-husband put in an all-cash offer on that house. I watched him put an all-cash offer in on the house.
So at that point, for me, like I told her, my house, Douglasville, I'm not getting rid of that, because for me, I just didn't want to, honestly. No side story. I just didn't want to. And I went to her like, well, we can live out here. She got an aunt that was living in like Dallas, Georgia, and I'm like, we'll be closer to her if you want to go out there and see your little cousin or your grandfather or something like that. So we left the situation up in the air. All this looking at houses, she went and looked at a couple of houses. I looked at 2 houses with her. I liked both of them. Both prices were a little needed to be negotiated, but at the time, they wanted to give her promotion at GSP, and I'm like, why don't you just take the promotion? Because then you can start paying down some of the student loan. I'll help you do that. Let's get your credit up here so that we can go into this house together. Because if I go into it by myself, I don't have a problem doing that, but we got to clean your credit up because we're married. And that means your credit is my credit. So let's get that cleaned up. She wanted to push to get out of that house. And I said, if you want to get out of the house,
No, I don't want to check out your content, gang ASAP. Like, and don't promote your Twitch and all that other crap in my stream. Thank you. And if you do it again, you're getting blocked.
you're moving up here where I'm at. But again, buying a house, your credit's not high. It just didn't make sense. Let's get your debt down. Anybody buying a house, this. Your credit bad, you ain't buying no house. If your credit good and the person's credit not so good, you gonna pay more because the person on the loan's credit isn't stellar. And I was trying to help her get that together.
As far as the loan, what made her look for these high houses for 700,000, 600,000 if she didn't have no credit for that?
I didn't tell her to look for a $600,000, $700,000 house. That's a question for her. I don't know. I told her I don't care if we are in Atlanta. The house that I lived in, Douglasville, I got at an auction, and I only paid $125,000 for.
She's not stupid. You told her you had the money, so she looked for houses in that price range. And you couldn't show proof.
House that's probably around $230,000 house. So $600,000 house. I'm like, I'm not going in with that and your credit like this because we're gonna be paying forever, or I'm gonna be paying forever.
But what I'm trying to figure out, so was the Chase loan, like the approval of the 700,000, was that a real thing? Or
I never went to my bank and needed to get approved for a loan.
I think the part
What?
that was just kind of unclear is that the money was there though. You're saying like the proof of fund, like when you were gonna pay for the house in cash, was that even a thing?
I wasn't gonna pay for it in cash. I was gonna go ahead and get a loan and finance the house. I wasn't about to go spend $750,000
What?
and 600,000, 500. No, on that no. Because honestly, I had told her before the budget for finding the house, we don't need.
Okay. I don't even know why I'm surprised, but I'm surprised because the complete difference of the lies and what Risa told us is just so insane. Like, you would think that, the truth and the lie, they kind of, blend in together a little bit. No. This is Risa's story. This is Legion's story. Complete opposite sides of the spectrum.
Need to be over 340. She started looking at houses that high.
Was the proof of funds ever a issue?
No, because I never gave it to the realtor because all we did was look at houses and I didn't commit to anything because, again, I told them solely we're just looking right now. And the realtors that we dealt with, they understood that and they were fine. There was a guy and another lady that she kept dealing with outside of me knowing, and then she take me to a house and they showed me and then they wanted all this financial information. And I was like, we haven't discussed this yet.
Because right then you were just looking.
Yeah, because you wake me up on a Saturday and say, I got an appointment at 12:30. I'm going to go look at this house. And I'm meeting these realtors and they telling me, oh, your wife.
God, I pray that no woman, including me, ever has to deal with a lying, narcissistic, manipulative, fat, ugly man like this. Ever.
Contacted us and they, this is that and the third. And I said, again, we're not committing to anything yet. And they understood that because I said, right now, her credit is here, mine is here. Like I said earlier, I got to get her here. So when we go into this house, because if I go into the house and I'm buying it myself, can you really say it's your house? You got to help me here.
When something didn't sit right, I would verbally record it in the audio diary because I was like, I don't know what it is, but there's something.
You said she had access to the account. She said the only thing that she saw was screenshots of like the account.
Yeah, access to the 2 accounts I let her know about. I had 5 altogether, but she had access to them. She had access to those 2 accounts because I bled money into those accounts. Paycheck, and then I bled money in if needed be. She was able to go to the bank, buy what she wanted when she wanted to buy it.
He came to me a few days after we started our first counseling session, and he was like, we should get a joint bank account. So now he's suggesting, look, we're married now, let's go ahead and get a joint account. I wasn't necessarily against it because I knew that I would still have my own account, I would still have my own savings. So what I countered with was, okay, let's take a look and see what we're working with. Show me your checking, let's look at each other's accounts. So he shows me his checking account. His checking account available balance was just over $9,600. Mine was just over $1,500. So there was a huge disparity in the amounts. I logged into my savings. I showed him how much I had in savings. He logged into, picked up his phone, logged into his Chase savings, turned the phone towards me. In the Chase savings, it was roughly about $15,000. But I also knew that he told me he had a U.S. bank savings and he had an offshore savings. So at this point in time, I asked him, show me the U.S. bank savings, show me the other two accounts. And so he kept saying, he was like, there's a lot of money in there. And he was like, and my uncle always told me, you know, just keep your money tight, because women can be, I said women, like, we're married.
So the family relationship thing is another thing that was big. She mentioned, you know, getting up every morning, talking to your brother. You know, from her conversation she had with your family, it was like seeming as if these people didn't have any contact with you. So who was on the phone?
We're at the point where I've spoken to the female cousin, and she gave me the phone number for the older brother. For the purposes of this video, we're going to call him Chris. Chris was very nice. I called him. He was gracious. He was willing to answer whatever questions I had. And what he said to me was, he said, my brother has always been a liar. He's always been a liar. I explained to him.
Oh, and come to find out, y'all, I don't know if you saw on TikTok, but this man was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and schizophrenia when he was younger. His parents continuously sent him to find therapists, get medication. When he got into adulthood, he stopped taking his medication. So that explains a lot.
About the phone calls. The fact that Legion would be on the phone for 35 minutes, laughing, talking to Chris, relaying messages from Chris to me, and relaying messages from me to Chris. Without missing a beat, Chris says he was never talking to me.
Like I told you in the beginning, the two gentlemen that looked out for me, my mom and dad passed away, that became brothers to me, which is Elgin and Miguel. These are the guys that I would talk to in the morning time. My brother Elgin is he's not, like I say, he's not my blood brother. But he's a pastor. In the morning time, I love to get my day started. He give me a word of encouragement. He do to everybody in his congregation, just give you something to get your day started. And he would call me in the morning just to help me get my day started. And I needed that. I was working my butt off back then. And if he didn't do that, then I don't know. Like I said, he cared enough to reach out. This man was busy every day. Still busy. And he just a hell of a pastor. But at the same time, again, not my blood brother, but he is my brother. And definitely somebody who, if I was ever going through anything, even to this day, reach out and same thing. Pray with me all the time.
Call him on the phone. Get him on the podcast. Is he real? We don't know.
Make sure I'm good and not scared to tell me, hey, bro, you wrong. He gave me marital advice, life advice, spiritual advice, and has been a real brother to me. Him and my his brother Miguel, which they're brothers. They're not my blood brothers, but they're my brothers. If you can understand what I'm saying.
Let me be very clear with the statement I'm getting ready to make. I reached out to every person I know who apparently has had some form of relationship with him. Either he said that they were friends, they talked on the phone, he said they hung out. The brother in Baltimore, I was told, had been to the house while I was at work. Brother in Baltimore said no, that never happened. I've never been to your house.
So she was hearing people on the phone because she was saying she didn't hear nobody.
Well, it ain't no secret that neither.
So she was hearing people on the phone because she was saying she didn't hear nobody.
Well, it ain't no secret
because he was talking to himself.
that neither cared for her too funny, but they accepted her because I did, because I loved her. So they accepted her, but neither really wanted a lot to do with her. So I mean, I'm not, my brother.
Yeah, but that's not the issue. She said you weren't talking to anybody on the phone. She didn't hear anybody on the phone on the other side. Like, what does that have to do with them liking her or not?
Those are good dudes, honestly. When I was younger, like I said, they looked out.
He lies like Trump.
I wouldn't have went to college if it wasn't for those two. More so than my parents. Not bad. My parents loved me every day, and they were definitely instrumental in me going to school. But these two shot me and cursed throughout college. Don't quit. Keep studying. You did your homework. What's up? Don't be in the club at nighttime. You go to the club, I'm gonna come kick your and would literally show up ready to beat the hell out of me if I got outside of doing what I'm supposed to do.
I think the issue with his knee, was not some football injury. That was not, I hit it at work. It wasn't that. Something else was going on. I had kept asking him to, let me know when you have a doctor's appointment. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with you. And he just kept saying the doctor, he's calling the doctor, and the doctor told him to just keep icing the knee. But I knew better.
What was wrong with your knee?
Nothing. Never happened.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. Did you have any incident?
Oh, nothing. Never happened.
So you never had a knee injury? Was never?
Nope.
Wow.
I'm speechless. He said she completely made that up, that you were in the bed peeing in bottles, laying in bed, not going to work, limping in and out the bed, not going to the bathroom, losing weight because you didn't get up to eat. She made all of that up? What a lie! This man is thorough with his lies. He's thorough.
Did you have any incident at work at all that would cause that lie? I'm trying to figure out where that would even stem from.
That's a good question.
No, nothing. The only thing even close to that is, we got a little snow in Atlanta, and I slipped and bruised my elbow. Not no knee, nothing, limping, nothing. I walk just fine. My girlfriend will tell you that. I don't never had an injury with.
Oh my gosh. He has another victim. He has a victim in the house with him right now. She's listening to these lies. Girl, I'm gonna pray for you. I'm sorry, but you got a big storm coming. Don't believe him. Don't believe him.
With knees at all until I was in a car accident, and that was after her and I were divorced.
She had mentioned about the knee because she was saying maybe it had stemmed from.
What is he, embarrassed? How are you gonna completely deny an injury that debilitated you, where you were peeing in bottles, in Gatorade bottles, and leaving them on the floor?
Football, and then she had mentioned that, hey, the football career, was never a thing. Like she could never find any, trace of that type of stuff. Is that, were you in the arena league, or what did you tell her? Because,
he's really in his own world.
Arena league. What league were you in?
Went to college, played, and then I went to college a little late because my parents didn't have the money, so I got a partial. Went out to San Diego, arena football for a couple of years, and then I just got a real job. That's it, basically. As simple as that. It was nothing.
What is arena football?
Did she look for it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But like I said, it wasn't nothing to write home about. I did more getting not saying, and I don't want to talk about like football players like not a real job, because it is a real job. But I think I did more after that part of my life than I ever did,
So you said you went to school in San Diego. You lived in California. That was true?
Yeah, I was there for school.
Okay, because she said she did some background research.
Yeah, I was there for school.
That never popped up that you lived.
That school they don't give you any student information. The reason they don't, I think it's 2003. Somebody went looking for somebody at the college, and they weren't there, but they gave information.
Wait, no, he said, okay, this is another lie. He told Risa that his dad registered him as it was like a dismissive citizen or something, to where nobody can find his information. Some kind of citizen. Now he's saying that the school doesn't give information because of some story about somebody looking for a child at the college. Man. And I saw somebody in the comments say he needs to do this interview again because he cannot tell the same lies twice. And I know that will be the truth.
For the person, and the person ended up getting killed. So their student policy is very strict. And we were told about that before I graduated. Student policy was changed, and it's very, very strict. If you are not allowed,
I hope the interviewer brings that up.
It's just their student policy is to keep from basically keep everybody safe, keep people from not having shootings on campus. San Diego State is a place where they push your education. They may not be big on sports all the time, but they want you to grow, progress. And everybody I know I went to school with out there, Jennifer, Henry, my friends, like we all have done well because of what they taught us there. But San Diego State, yeah, but everybody I went to college with, yeah, they the funny part about this story, I heard more from them, like, because a lot of them at the time, well, hey, I told you not to marry that girl. But yeah, she knew about it. She saw highlights, student pictures, me on all kind of stuff. But again, anything like Teresa's thing is anything to defame me, anything to make me look horrible. Yeah, I mean, I think she took everybody for a ride because she got paid from TikTok. She got Cash App from people who sent her money. People sent her on trips, all this other stuff. And now this other woman has come out and come forward and talk about how she took this story, and people have reached out and spoke to me, and now they find out she lied. Now, you know, again, she'll probably make a video after this video and say, oh, he lied again. That's fine too. The only reason, like I said in the beginning of this video, I came here, I want people to leave my family alone, people I love alone.
So the only reason that is like a big
The question was, did you go to San Diego State? And he ended all the way up there.
part of the story is because she said that you mentioned you were able to save up a lot of money from the arena football and
I did.
able to start your life. Okay.
Yeah, I did. I rode the bench proudly for that paycheck, and was able to finish paying for a little bit I owed for school. I was able to buy a very nice car, very nice house, and start my life off great. I mean, when you don't try to spend your money, like, you be amazed. Like, man, I used to shop for groceries in a dollar store out in California, like the Dollar Tree. Like, I used to go there. I would go to like Save a Lot. I would do whatever I need to do to save that money, because any day in arena football might be your last day. And it's not the same. Contract's not set up the same. None of that. So again, I did the smart thing and save the money. And these two gentlemen I told you about before, save your money, save your money, save your money. And they were very instrumental in telling me that. My father was still alive, so my father would be like, yeah, save your money, you know, because tomorrow ain't promised to you. So make sure that you got something to fall back on, because when it's over, you know. And for me, I probably still could have played, but I kind of outgrew it. I got tired of the hustle and bustle of it all, and I became more of a fan than the athlete. And at that point, it was time to do something else, and I did.
You said she's seen highlights and stuff like that from San Diego. Is that something you can share as far as like highlight or a picture of something that you
Care to share with the class?
basically saying, hey, that never even happened?
So by this point, we're moving into May of 2021. Things are starting to reopen. One of the things that reopened was San Diego State. There was instructions on how to request a transcript. I was able to try to request it online. You needed the student's name, and I believe you also need their social. And when I typed it in, it said no results found. I asked Lee.
All right, y'all. It's 8:35. Let's move on to the next video. We will finish this